Viskerma, hello, I'm Samantha MacKenzie of the Jamie and Claire Tour. So, what's it like on one of our tours? Well, each tour is a little different, but in a week we include about 12 Outlander locations from the book. Besides taking you to the obvious places like Culloden and the castle, we go on the back roads, and we include places that are exclusive only to us. We'll show you a few of our locations in this video and give you just the merest taste of what's in store.
Is te voelo Markislan is to knav demo knav is later movoik kam genisha narna is later manen gusan krikni kersel.
I don't want to move too fast because it's so magical. I want to take it all in. It's fabulous. Best hike of the entire trip. So are we walking through the heather?
Aye, this is heather.
Beautiful.
You asked me, Captain, if I were a witch, I said, my voice low and steady. I'll answer you now. Witch I am, witch, and I curse you. You will marry, Captain, and your wife will bear a child, but you shall not live to see your firstborn. I curse you with knowledge, Jonathan Randall. I give you the hour of your death.
The gallery was lit by pine torches, brilliant flares that rose straight up in their sockets, outlined in black by the soot their predecessors had left on the walls. Several faces turned, blinking, to look at me as I came out of the hangings at the back of the gallery. From the looks of it, all the women of the castle were up there. I recognized the girl Leoch, Magdalene, and some of the other women I had met in the kitchens, and of course, the stout form of Mrs. Fitzgibbons.
The grove was dark but not still. The pines roared softly to themselves, millions of needles scouring in the wind. Very ancient trees, pines, and eerie in the gloom, gymnosperms, cone bearers, winged seed scatterers, older and sterner by far than the soft-leaved, frail birch and aspens. A suitable home for Rupert's ghosts and evil spirits.
Hi, my name is Gil Nichols and I'm from the USA, from Delaware. I've really enjoyed the tour, not so much from the perspective of the books, but particularly because of the countryside I've seen and the people I've met. Particularly interesting to me and important to me were meeting the Earl of Cromartie. I hope I've said that right, but it was very, very interesting to meet a person who has not only a family history, a long and rich history, but also is so interactive and so present day and involved with preserving the heritage and passing on the importance of the family history.
My first impression of Castle Leoch was, when we walked upon it, was the view. It was sitting on a hill, it was amazing. Just my first impression will always be that picture.
I also particularly was interested and enjoyed going to the Highlands. If I had come here myself, I would never have probably climbed the mountains. And I said to my wife Diane earlier today that, you know, we would drive by and we would see the hills and they would be so pretty, but actually climbing them and being there and feeling what it's like to be up in the Highlands, it was really a particular experience that I will always remember.
Okay, welcome to Hootenannies. This is a pub that was volunteered by our guide Scott because he knows where the local beer is and because he's a musician here tonight. He'll be on the drums.
Let me introduce you to a character, a minor character in this story who appears later in another minor role. General John Campbell. Now he was obviously the leader of the Campbells, the Campbell regiment. Now when some of the Highlanders had been rounded up, they were put in a pen. There was about a dozen of them. And there was one there known as Fierce John. And he'd lost his right hand. It was cut off at the wrist in the battle. And so in this pen they had a brazier and he had a sword, and he was staunching the flow of the blood with this heated sword. And they looked pitiful because these Highlanders had been marching throughout the winter and their provisions had getting low, and most of them hadn't slept the night before the battle. As they later said themselves, we were sent into battle on half an hour's sleep and a biscuit. So they are fairly pitiful looking, and of course they don't wear a uniform, the Highlanders. They had their regimental designations, but most of them were in civvies or Highland clothes and were rough with beards. It was April, it was still cold, so they looked fairly pitiful. Now the Butcher of Cumberland himself sees these men, and General John Campbell is there, and he says to General John Campbell, "Oh, they're pitiful, pathetic runts of men," and he says, "Don't be talking harshly against these men," he says. He says, "These men are good fighters and they're loyal." He says, "There isn't a man amongst any of them could stand up to my man." He says, "I'll bet you there's a man amongst those 12 in that cage who could stand up to the best in this army."
Okay, so fingers here, you're spinning it. Okay, and then I
so
let
feel
that
the
go.
feel the end where the wool. Now you see, you're letting your spin go past your fingers.
Okay.
Right. If you let the spin go past and it goes into here,
then you can't.
You can't.
So
pull
how
it.
do you pull it down nice without like stretching it
It's
too far?
Just a knack.
Oh, it is. It's very comfortable, and I don't even have a plaid or a big burly guy to keep me warm.
While we're waiting, let us do a recap of our Gaelic.
Uh-oh. Martin Va.
Martin Va.
Martin Va.
That was a bit rubbish. 1, 2, 3.
Martin Va.
Much better. Right. Kimbrahau.
Hagama.
Hagama.
There we go.
Kimbrahau.
Hagama. Kimbrahau.
Kimbrahau. Hain.
Hain. There we go.
Mishigamakujuk.
So that's just a wee taste of what it's like to be on the Jamie and Claire tour. Thanks to all our Outlander spirits whose words and photos helped us to share a bit of Scotland with you. Thanks for watching, and Marshin Live in Drozda. Bye for now.